Hi, welcome to my video. This video is a brief description on how to change a broken drive belt and rear drum bearing on a Zanussi condenser dryer model number TC7102W. Basically, the tumble dryer has been making a bit of a squeaking noise for some time. It's about 10 years old. Still works perfectly, dries the clothes very well. And upon stripping the machine, we found a broken drive belt. This is the main drive belt. It's a ribbed belt. You can see it's quite perished. This is what drives the drum and is driven off a central motor on the lower left hand side of the machine. Basically, a little bit of a close-up just so you can see the main moving parts. The belt is driven by a pulley on the bottom of the motor. You can see the shaft there at the bottom here. There is a rib drive which corresponds with the belt, and as the motor spins, the belt spins with it, and that's what actually drives the drum. There are two fans on either side driven off a common shaft that runs all the way through the motor. This front one is, I think, what draws the air into the front, and this is the exhaust air out the back, because like I said, this is a condenser dryer. Okay, the machine itself is really easy to strip down, to be honest. Obviously you can see I've taken the top panel off and both side panels, and all you really need to do this whole job is a small socket set and a Phillips posi screwdriver. Basically, start around the back of the machine. There is a cover plate to come off, which I've just pulled up here. So on the back there's just a little bit of tin work and a plastic cover. That just sits around the back there. It's very easy to get off. There's just a ring, you can see here all the way around, a ring of small screws, which are, some of them actually have, you can see they're Phillips heads on the end, so they're quite easy to get out, but some of them are small, like a hex head, hence why you're going to need a little socket set or a pair of pliers or something. They're not in tight, it's only a cheap pressed metal frame. Okay, so basically you start taking all the cover off, remove all that, and then we can see the rear bearing. Now that's as far as you need to go if you want to change the rear bearing. This is the old bearing I took out, which actually, to be honest, didn't look in that bad condition. It's got a, like, it looks some sort of phosphorus bronze bush by the look of it in the middle, and you can see that's quite tight and everything else, and that is literally, if you want to change that just by itself, it's a really easy job. You just remove the rear cover, like I said. There is a circlip, a large circlip with a washer just behind it, and all you'd need to do from the rear, once you remove the cover, is literally remove these two sort of Phillips posi drive head screws, and then that whole bearing just pulls off, and you can literally just stick a new one on. So that is a job that can probably take you 10 minutes, literally. I bought the new bearing off eBay, and I think I paid about £6, £6 or £7, delivered to my home address. Okay, so once you've taken this off, because obviously you need to get the belt around the drum, so you've got to take the circlip off, take the washer off, and that allows the centre shaft and the drum then, this is the drum behind you, you can see the drum turns, that's the drum. The drum itself then will become loose in the machine. So to take the side covers off, there's a row of screws down the edge, a couple of screws at the top here, and we can see these screws go with a corresponding bit of frame up to the front section, and they're relatively straightforward. Once you've undone all these and all these little bolts all the way along the bottom, the whole back of the machine becomes loose and can just move backwards and forwards quite easy. There's a couple of electrical connections. There's one up here on the rear, which is the mains in, but there's plenty of slack on this loom, and there's another one down at the back, this red one, which feeds the heating element. And as a matter of fact, if that's the heating element that is broken in your machine, then again, it's quite easy to change this from this point. I also spotted the thermostat housing lives under here somewhere, where this wiring loom goes down to. So if you get a thermostat problem and it can't control the heat or it's not coming on, you can change them. It looks like a little silver two-piece peace button, and they're quite cheap. I've changed them before. So once you've undone all that, side panels, the top panel, again, under a couple of screws, and the top panel sort of slides off and comes up, and that's quite easy to get off. Top and sides off, and then with the drum loose, you can literally just feed the new drive belt around the back of the drum, around, and like I said, this is how it goes around the bottom pulley. You see? If that'll help you. It goes around the top of the little pulley, and the motor maintains the preset load on the pulley by means of this spring, which is just attached on the bottom. There are two little bearings underneath here, which just sit in a plastic housing, and that just allows the motor to give a little bit and move a little bit. They don't rotate in that, it just allows the motor a little bit of play as the machine's bouncing back and forwards. There are two ancillary rollers here, which the drum literally rolls against. You can see both of mine were in good condition really. The bearings in the centre of them look relatively sealed for life. I tried to squeeze a little bit of grease in there and everything else. There is two seals. There is one which sits inside here, behind this plastic lip. So when the drum is free to come out, the drum can move rearwards and you can access that seal. And there's another felt seal at the back here, which you can just about see. It's quite dark, sorry. And those two are what create the front and rear seal on the drum. Both of mine were quite dry, so I gave them a bit of a squirt. The only consumables I used were some Ambersil silicone grease and some high temperature mobile red high-speed grease. Very similar to what you'd use on an aircraft actually, but there you go. Not telling you where I got them from. So that's the drum. That's how it works. You can see it's nice and free. Give that a quick plug in. Let's have a look at it working so you can see it all going. You have to be careful if you're going to operate the drum, just to see how it works, because when you put the obviously it's all live, and when it comes on you'll see that the heating element will start to get red, because there's no cooling air coming over the heating element. Can you see that? It's getting hot now. I need to make sure I turn it off, otherwise you're going to burn the element out. But that's enough just to see us going. Nice and quiet. And hope that helps someone. Cheers. Thanks for watching the video.